Welcome back to Coast Sports. Today we continue our Olympics coverage, and today I want to talk about comebacks. I think especially after seeing the whole drama with Ilya Melinin and how he kind of failed to capture the gold, and everybody thought he was going to be able to do that. I want to talk about Olympic comebacks. I was reading this morning about Simone Biles, and she apparently gave him She talked to Good Morning America. She said she had a chance to bump into him. I've sent him messages on Instagram as well. Obviously, it's been private. She says, I know what he's going through. I know most athletes might not be able to relate, and it's really hard to watch. She did call him an absolute legend. She says she's cheering for him. She thinks he'll bounce back. So what's interesting is Biles, I think, is one of the best comeback stories of all time because she was considered the best in 2018. In 2016, she was the best. And then in 2021, she failed. She went out there, she had mental health issues, she had the yips, you could say, and she wasn't able to get the job done. She came back in 2024 in Paris, and she reclaimed her spot as the best gymnastics, as the top female gymnast in the world. That's an incredible comeback, and it's a comeback that took 8 years to complete, and she did it. She pulled it off. And I think there are a lot of really cool stories like that go unnoticed. So I want to talk about that and talk about some of these comeback stories because I think that's really cool. I want to start with an Italian skier who she was not supposed to be in this scenario. Specifically because she was injured just 10 months ago. Her name is Federica Brigone. She's an alpine skier. She won the giant slalom and the Super G. She's also the world champion in the giant slalom. And what's amazing is that on April 3rd of last year, during the Italian ski championships in the giant slalom, she tore her ACL. She also fractured her calf and her tibial plateau. She missed almost the entire season for this winter. She didn't make her return to the World Cup until January 20th, when she was 6th in the giant slalom race in Kronplatz. 3 weeks later, 3 weeks after returning to the mountain, she won 2 Olympic gold medals in the giant slalom and in the Super G. Her first 2 Olympic gold medals, by the way, she has a silver in the giant slalom from Beijing and a bronze from the giant slalom from Pyeongchang. She also has multiple gold medals in world championships. She won the 2025 world championship in the giant slalom, 2023 in the combined. Very impressive what she's been able to do. She's also, by the way, she's 35. Coming back from an ACL tear at 25 is not as hard. Coming back from an ACL tear at 35 to do what she did and win 2 gold medals after only being back on the mountain for 3 weeks, that is incredible. I think it definitely helps being in her home country, being on a mountain she's familiar with, being in front of her home crowd. But to win her first 2 Olympic gold medals at the age of 35 is amazing. And I think that is so impressive and so important. So that's a comeback story that I think is a great story. And it's the sort of thing that I just love to put some attention on that sort of thing. Because there are so many athletes who are trying to get there and who suffer setbacks, So it's good to see them able to, here's a real life example of somebody who overcame a lot to get to where she needed to be. And won. She put her money where her mouth was, and she won. Another comeback I would talk about would be Lindsey Vonn. Again, she didn't win, but Lindsey Vonn came out from an ACL tear and competed 2 weeks later. And I know it's different because she hasn't had surgery yet, so she hadn't had to go through the recovery yet. But the fact that Lindsey Vonn even managed to get up that mountain is just insane. It's insane. And it's the sort of thing where, look, when you love your sport that much, you are going to do anything to win. And she did, and she went out there and she competed. I have a lot of respect for athletes like that. So much. That's going to do it for today's episode of Coast to Coast Sports. We'll see you guys tomorrow.